Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum and I'm here today at Morphy's taking a look at one of the last vestiges of Mauser small arms production, which actually wasn't manufactured by Mauser at all. This is a Mauser Model 80SA, which is in fact a direct copy of the Browning High Power, made under license for Mauser in Hungary at FEG. Now, the backstory here is that by the 1980s, Mauser as a company, as a small arms manufacturer, was really pretty adrift. They hadn't done a whole lot after World War II. There was some experimentation. They were tinkering with some submachine guns in the 50s and the 60s. But by the 1980s, the management had changed. There wasn't really anyone left in control of the company who had any sort of clear vision or real plan for what they wanted to do or where they wanted to go. They were still trying to sort of get by on legacy products. They had reintroduced the Luger, which is sort of a legacy Mauser product. They'd done that through Interarms, specifically for the American commercial market, and it was okay, but it didn't work out nearly as well as anyone thought it would. They tried to relaunch the Mauser HSC pistol. Nothing was really going very well. And by the 1980s, they were looking at options of basically just not even outsourcing manufacture, but buying handguns from other companies marked with the Mauser logo and reselling them. And the classic company that they did this mostly with was a company called Renato Gamba in Italy that made pistols, but they also ended up working with FEG in Hungary. So in 1990, they contracted with FEG to make both the Mauser Model 80 and the Mauser Model 90 pistols, and we'll cover the 90 in a separate video. The 80 was a straight-up Browning High Power because the Hungarians at FEG had actually purchased a license and gotten tooling to make the High Power from FN in 1973, and they started making it in Hungary, calling it the P9 pistol. So this is essentially a Hungarian P9 marked Mauser, which is in turn a Browning High Power. Let me show you up close. Here's the original box that it came in. Mauser powder barrel logo, Model 80SA, caliber 9mm. We've got some German tracking labels there. There is no mention of Hungary anywhere on this box. So pull that open. We've got a styrofoam case inside. Came with the pistol and a spare magazine. This one doesn't have the spare magazine there. This is a beautiful example of the piece. Might be unfired. I'm not sure. It certainly has never been abused. We take a closer look here. We have Mauser Model 80SA, caliber 9mm parabellum. Serial number here, they clearly had the idea that they might do a lot of these. The 80 is the model designation, and then we've got a pair of leading zeros and 3953. Serial numbers ended at 4200, so this is one of the last ones done. It's your importer mark. On the opposite side, we have Mauser Werke Oberndorf, GmbH. These were manufactured to be sold not just in the US, but also throughout Europe. And the serial number is also repeated down here on the front strap of the grip. Like I said, FEG bought the license and the tooling to manufacture the High Power from FN, from the Belgians, in 1973. So this isn't a reverse engineered clone, this isn't a copy, this is a licensed, well, I suppose it is a copy, but this is licensed production of the Browning High Power. The one interesting difference is that this does not have a magazine safety in it. None of the other Mauser 80s that I've seen do either. So interesting that they left that out. I think that's an element that a lot of people would actually prefer. A magazine safety, of course, is just the idea that if you don't have a magazine in the gun, it won't drop the hammer. This has a reputation for making the trigger pull worse because you have some additional intermediate linkages between the trigger and the hammer to disconnect it if magazine's not present. So there are a fair number of serious shooters who will actually remove the magazine safety from a High Power. Well, you don't have to do that if it's a Mauser 80 because that magazine safety isn't in there to begin with. Let's disassemble this real quick here for you. Just push the slide stop pin out. That pin comes out. We can then pull the slide off the front. Pull the recoil spring out. Pull the barrel. Take a look on the barrel here. We have a Hungarian shield proof mark. 91, I believe, actually is the date of production. Got our caliber and serial number on the barrel there. Take a look at the frame right here on the trigger guard. We have a Hungarian proof mark. That's really the only evidence you will see on here of Hungarian manufacture. It doesn't say made in Hungary anywhere. It just has the Mauser name and logo. There you are, one Mauser Model 80 high power made by FEG, field stripped. These use totally standard Browning high power magazines, so of course the capacity they come with is 13 rounds. There are some extended capacity high power mags, and they will fit and function in the Mauser 80. Production of the Mauser Model 80 SA ran from 1990 until 1995, and they only made a total of 3,200 of them during that time period. This just wasn't a popular pistol, and it shouldn't be all that surprising. There are a lot of Browning high powers available out there, and it is fundamentally a 1935 pistol design. Mauser's trying to rely on it in 1995. There are whole new generations of handguns that have come and gone since the Browning high power was a cutting-edge pistol. So ultimately in 1999, Mauser shut down its small arms production. They sold off the brand name, the trademark. There are a couple different trademarks and names associated with Mauser, but the stuff here was sold ultimately to Sig Sauer, interestingly. It's now owned by a conglomerate that owns Mauser and Sig Sauer and a number of other classic firearms trademarks and brand names. So I would like to give a big thanks to two specific authors that made this video possible. One is Laszlo Betz, who is the author of Rifles on the Danube, Headstamp's book on Hungarian AKs. He is a Hungarian small arms researcher who has access to some fantastic information on Hungarian small arms. The other is Gerben van Vlimmeren, who is a Dutch researcher and author who has written extensively on Mauser, both pre and post World War II. If you're interested in particular, Mauser's reintroduction of the Luger pistol, Gerben and a co-author wrote a book called The Parabellum is Back that is a huge tome talking about that. So between he and Mr. Betz, they have some perfect, fantastic information about Mauser's collaboration with FEG to make guns like the Mauser 80 and the Mauser 90. So of course also thanks to Morphees for giving me access to this one, essentially brand new in its original box to show to you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.